This is shortly after my last video, and I seen that someone requested me to do a braid out video, and I'm super thankful for that because I do need to take these out and actually wash my hair. I'm not gonna wash my hair in today's video, but I am gonna be doing a braid out, and we're gonna be able to see what short hair looks like as it's curly after doing a braid and then braid out. So guys, let's go ahead and get started with the actual unbraiding process. This is actually like a basket weave or a barrel roll that I did with my hair. If you haven't seen the last tutorial, go check it out. Obviously it's pretty messy and it's not well put together. This is actually going to be very easy to pull out. What I'm going to try to do is actually just take out this hair tie in the back and then shake my hair. I'm pretty sure everything is going to come out. It's really holding on by faith at this point. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take it out by hand. So let's get started. Obviously I just have this in the back. And then I do have rubber bands back here I need to take out. I mentioned this in the last two videos because the last two videos are hairstyle videos. For any of you guys who don't know, starting out dreadlocks and maintaining starter locks, it can be a little tough, mostly because you have to go through the locking process, which a lot of people call it the ugly stage. I don't like to call it the ugly stage because I don't think the process is ugly. Although it may, like in anything in life, like things might look ugly on the outside, but I think it's all good. All right, here we go. We're gonna start on this side since this is the one that I started on. It should be fairly easy to unravel because it's just rolled up. Now, even though it is very easy to unravel, I'm still taking my time because I don't want to run my finger directly down the middle a single dreadlock because you don't want to uproot it. And what I mean by uproot is like stick my finger through the root of the actual dreadlock and then like run my finger down it because then it'll just unravel it because they are starter locks. Now, I did tell you guys in the last video I was going to figure out what day I actually started my locks so we know a perfect timeline of when I started these. So I'll be explaining that here in a little bit, but first I'm going to finish taking out the rest of these and we'll be able to see my hair in its curly state. So that is my hair outside of the actual braids and then after the barrel rolls, and looks pretty cool. It's like standing up a lot, and that's just because of the roots actually being bent, so now they're bending up after pulling them out of the actual braids. And obviously it's quite obvious that my hair is curly, and that comes from the braids as well. Overall, really cool. What do you guys think? I think the biggest thing that I notice is that my tips are just like straight out, and that's obviously just from the braids as well, from them being pushed out all the way. Like say they're essentially straightened out and then they're in the braids, and then I'm laying on the tips because the tips are kind of poking out, so they're being flattened down to the braid, so that's why the tips are like that, and then the lengths are actually really curly. But one thing I really notice is that the roots are nice and hard, and that's really just a good sign because it just shows that the braids did their job of holding everything together. But I will say this, I'm not sure how much it's benefited the length as much as I thought it would. I thought it would benefit the length of the dreadlock a lot better, and not length as in I thought it was going to make my hair grow. I mean length as in I thought it was going to benefit the actual locking process of the length, but essentially just held it in position. I don't feel too much of maturity. I think the biggest reason there's not a lot of maturity is because it was held in a position for such a long time and wasn't allowed much friction because it's inside and like protected by the actual braids. But I mean overall, I mean you can tell that it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I mean maybe I changed my mind on curly short dreadlocks. My hair does feel lighter, probably just because it's standing up. But one thing we did last time too, when we did the braids, Candace didn't put in a whole lot of product, because if you guys didn't watch the video of Candace actually braiding my hair, she didn't use a whole lot of product, and I'm actually really stoked on that because when you use a lot of product, it can create buildup. Because if you're using product and too much of it, and then it starts to mature around like the actual dreadlock, then it encapsulates that locking gel inside the dreadlock. You want to get a locking gel that washes out fairly easy, or use like what I use right now, the Mocha de Gorilla, and then just make sure that you're not using a whole bunch, because you don't need a whole bunch with the Mocha de Gorilla. I'm gonna show you guys up close. Obviously there's gonna be a little bit of flakes because I just pulled out all the braids. And the flakes essentially just come from dried out gel. And it can also be dandruff, which is essentially just a dry scalp. But you see how the sections are very well maintained? That's just a good sign of maturity. And some of these on the front, which is pretty obvious that they are held even better, just because that is where most of the gel went, because it's the front of the hair where the braid begins, and you want that to look really clean when doing braids. But overall, everything feels good. The sections are all there. And that's really the biggest thing, guys. When you're doing twisting with gel or any method, you want to make sure that your sections are always maintained. That's the biggest thing. As long as your sections are there, your hair will lock up in that section. It just takes time. Now, if you want to do it quicker, you can obviously make the sections and then do the instant locking method with the crochet hook, and it's really all up to you. And then there's some in here. I think I have 3 dreadlocks that were instantly locked. I had Kellen do a couple. This one was instantly locked, so it's nice and mature at the bottom. I told him not to do the tip because I want it to lock naturally. This one's locked, and then there's a couple up here that are actually locked. But overall, really cool. What do you guys think? Cool hairstyle? It's like Medusa. I feel like this shows my hair length as well. Maybe my hair did grow because it's going pretty far. Alright guys, fast forward some time. You're probably wondering, why is my shirt off and why am I outside with my shirt off? I'm gonna be swimming in today's video as well. Since I took out the braids and I have the curly hair, I'm going to essentially just get my hair wet so it releases the curls. Essentially what happens if your hair is curly after doing a twist out or a braid out and you don't want the curls in, all you have to do is get it wet. You don't have to necessarily submerge your hair in water, but you just have to get it damp enough to where it loosens up the hair. But I'm gonna take this chance and go swimming. This is my first time swimming of the summer season in Arizona, and the water is at about, I would say about high 70s, so I'm hoping it isn't too cold. And I mean, realistically last year we were already swimming at this time, so hopefully it's warm enough and we're not really freezing. It's gonna be me, Candace, and Penny, my daughter. She's newborn, but she's actually 6 months old now, and we've already took her swimming a couple times and she really enjoys it, so we're gonna have a bunch of fun. But I'll kind of take you through the progress of what my hair's doing as I'm swimming, so you guys can see. Obviously these curls are gonna be gone, but also we're gonna see what happens to my hair since they are starter locks, getting fully submerged in water. Alright y'all, water's actually not too cold, but I mean the hair looks like it's good. I'm not going to be worried about it too much. It's just one of those things where in the summer, or when you want to have fun, just enjoy your time and then just make up for it later on. But everything looks like it's going to be staying in, and that was with the help of doing the braids. But I mean, as long as all my sections stay there, then we're good. It's pretty much just like washing your hair pretty much, but at the same time, swimming in the pool has chlorine, so what it does, it not only wets your hair, but it's like sea salt spray. So if you spray your hair with sea salt water, or salt water, it essentially dries your hair out as it's wet. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my time swimming, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, so swimming was actually a success. It was nice. The pool was actually like warm and cold in some spots. So I think what needs to take place is just us swimming in it so that it gets fully warm versus just some spots being warm. Anyway, hair stayed in. I feel like my hair resembles a lot like Ja Morant. Just because his dreadlocks look curly most of the time, because he does hairstyles like 2-strand twist and braids. And then he does braid outs, and then it looks a lot like this. And the interesting thing about his dreadlocks is that they seem to always be fluffy. And I think it's just because he's going through the locking stage, obviously. But my hair is primarily fluffy just because it's in the beginning stages. I've only had these in for, like I said, I was going to tell you guys when I actually started these. And I'm just going to look at my photos because I have a bunch of albums of all the time that I've been taking photos. And if I go to month, let's see, month number 4, so I would have started my dreadlocks on November 5th. So it had to have been, so it is more than 4 months, obviously. It's actually closer to 5 or 6 months. Let's see, November 5th, how many months ago is that? 5 months. I thought that I was around like the 4-month range. Well, I guess I'm only a month off. So 5 months I've had these in, and man, it's taken some time, but I mean, obviously I was swimming right now. Hair was fully submerged. All my sections are still there. They're clean sections. I mean, I was just having a good time, and I want to encourage you guys, like I said out there, is if you want to go swimming and you have starter locks, just take the time and swim, or take the time and prep your hair for swimming, but all the time you don't have to prepare. Just enjoy your time most of the time, especially since it's summertime. That was a bunch of times in one sentence. I'll show you guys like a quick side view, front view, and the right view. My hair is still curly, which is interesting, but I think it's just because of my natural curl pattern as well. After getting my hair wet, my hair tends to kind of scrunch up into its natural curl pattern as well. And that just goes to show how my hair isn't fully mature yet. And that's just a sign of immaturity. If your hair is curling up, like you see my tips, they're really curly, it's a sign of immaturity. And if your dreadlocks are the same way, that's just a sign. Just let you know that you have some time to go. And I'm pretty sure in about, 6 to 7 months, my dreadlocks are gonna be fully secured and I think pretty mature for the most part. I think a full year is a kind of time to actually get to full maturity, in my opinion. Even if you do instant locks, and even if you do any other method, like twist and rip or whatever you choose, if you do sponge rub, anything that you choose to do your dreadlocks, whatever you do to start it out, I think it takes a full year for your hair to actually fully mature. Even if they are, completely locked in doing the instant locking method using the crochet hook, and say you locked them up in only 5 hours or it took you a day to do them, it still takes time for them to get to the point to where you really like them. And I think it's a year mark for me. But it's really up to you what your full maturity is, because full maturity isn't always just it being completely locked up and not unraveling. It's really to the point to where you like it the best. But you guys, that's it for today's video. I've had my dreadlocks in for 5 months, so this essentially is a 5-month update, and everything is doing good. Maybe I'll do a more in-depth and thorough update. If you guys want one, please comment down below that you want to see a actual 5-month update. And I'll make one just for you guys and show you guys like close-ups and everything like that so you can see what's going on. But from afar, from the outside looking in, everything's holding up pretty well. You guys can see what's going on. And I mean, like I said, my head was fully submerged in the water multiple times as I was swimming and still good to go. But hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you guys are new. I drop dreadlock content all the time. And I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully you guys do have an amazing day. Matter of fact, have a great day. Peace. God bless.